Tao Te Ching, Chapter 7. Heaven and earth last forever. The reason why heaven and earth last forever is that they do not live for themselves. Hence, they last forever. Therefore, the true person leaves self behind, and thus is found in front, is not guarded, and thus is preserved, is self-free, and thus is able to find fulfillment. Okay. So there's the idea of somehow the Asian philosophies have the idea of you should shed the self, right? Shed the ego. So here it says, heaven and earth last forever. And the reason why heaven and earth last forever is that they do not live for themselves. So it's saying nature doesn't live for itself. It exists for everything else, but it doesn't have an ego. It doesn't have desire for its own self. So that's interesting. And it says that's why it lasts forever. So I guess in a way, if you have an ego or you have a sense of self, then it won't last as long. So that's interesting, something to think about. And then it says so. So a lot of these chapters, the Tao Te Ching would say something about nature, and then it says something about the wise person. So it's trying to teach what we should do as human beings. So it says, therefore, the true person leaves self behind. So the true person, again, is the wise person, leaves his sense of self behind. Okay, he gets overcome his own egotistical tendencies, right? And thus is found in front. Now that's interesting. It's like you don't pay attention for number one, or you don't pay attention for yourself. You don't try to promote yourself, and yet you end up in front. So that's kind of reverse logic, but it's I guess we can all observe in life to see if that's true or not. And then it says, the true person is not guarded and thus is preserved. So you don't put your guard up, or you don't worry about what people think of you. I guess you can see this in like when you're dancing or something. If you're thinking so self-conscious, then you're not going to be able to do a good job dancing, because you're afraid about what people would think of your dance. So if you're not guarded and you just relax and dance like you're in your own house or nobody around, then you might do a better job, right? And it says the wise person is self-free. That means free of self, and thus is able to find fulfillment. So that's the other thing. I guess you feel fulfillment or happy, content, a sense of accomplishment if you no longer have that self idea. So let me think. In a way, I guess it's true if you're like, how I said in maybe the first chapter discussions, I was saying that life is perfect the way it is. So everything is in its place. We are who we are, and everything works out well. It might not be, we might not think that at times, but if we look at it from a outside point of view, then we might see that. So if you realize that everything is good, and you don't have to worry about, I have to promote myself, I have to struggle and get things for myself, I have to look out for myself, that type of thing, then you feel a sense of fulfillment. You're like, even as I said, in my life, when I realized like I am who I am, I'm drawn the way I am, so to speak, is and I should just be happy with the way I am. And when you feel that way, you have a sense of fulfillment. So I think there's truth to that. Okay, thank you, and see you next chapter.